super nasty.
Because Mike asked if he can clean them, and I said, go for it.
They're like globs of dead bodies. And right now, what we have on display here is the National Volleyball Show.
This boat is actually owned by the people, well, it was originally owned by the people who owned that castle that I showed you last week.
It's just kind of cramped if they're all, you know. Yeah.
Can you tell? Oh, okay. What?
Ship actually sunk twice. Never had an engine. Used a tugboat, if you can believe it.
So anyway,
Yeah, so that was from my trip. There's actually another museum across the river in America. Like almost directly across from us, though you have to go around some islands. So we ran over to visit, but because the weather was poor, we didn't take a boat over, we just drove, which actually didn't take that long. So, yeah, I am tired now, because before we went over there, we actually had, like, normally we don't work Mondays. The museum isn't open Mondays and Tuesdays until after next Saturday, because that's July 1st. But we had this special event with like 50 kindergartners, and oh god, I'm gonna teach university students, because they at least have an attention span, and if they're acting stupid, I have the ability to tell them that they're acting stupid and they need to stop. With kindergartens, you can ask them to pay attention, but you can't really make them stop. They don't always realize what they're doing is annoying. So, I'm trying to make ice cream with them, like with an old-fashioned ice cream maker. It was very messy. But I mean, it worked. And now there's a lot of ice cream at the museum that I get to work on eating. We're actually losing one of our workers. She's got a job that's more aligned with her field. So, she's working another week, and then she starts that in July. Which is sad, 'cause I like her. Like, she's been really good about just going at it and doing things. We had her as the floater, and she preferred being up and moving around. And she had no problem if it was, well, do a garbage walk, or go check the washrooms and clean them, or anything like that. Like, she just liked being up and moving. So if it was, oh, we need you to figure out this cash thing, because she was really a big cash person. So I actually got a ride home with one of the other girls, and we talked partially on the ride home of how we would prefer to reorganize ourselves. Because again, if management steps in and says, "No, this is how we're doing it," that's up to them, and we have to accept that. But if it's left up to us, we were sort of discussing what probably the best way would be to move everybody around and keep everyone relatively happy. And so we think we've got somebody who can safely move in, at least on the money side of things, into the hole that she's going to be leaving. But I'm really proud of her for doing it, for finding something in her field and having the guts to say, like, I'm sorry, this isn't something I'd normally do, but I need to do this. Like we're super proud, and I'm going to probably tell her that when we start work again, because we just found out at the end of the day when we got our schedules for the next 2 weeks. And they headed out really quickly, and I had to actually wait, because the girl I was getting a ride with was speaking with the managers. But I think I'll go back and tell her that, like, I am proud of her, because that takes guts, and I don't want her to feel like we're all upset at her or anything like that. Like, I think she's doing the right thing. She's doing the thing she needs to do, because she needs the experience in her own field moving forward. So, it's a little curious because I doubt they're gonna hire somebody else. I don't think they're gonna have like a new student that's gonna fill in the spot. But it's been great to have her for the first 2 months. So and that's sort of it. Like she'll finish this week, and she'll probably help us out. Yeah, because this week includes the weekend, so it'd be the first 2 days of July, and we really need all the help we can get on that Canada Day weekend. We're expecting it to be pretty hectic, so it's going to be useful to have her for that. But I think after that point, again, if we can make the adjustments we need to make, like, I think we'll be fine even if we don't hire somebody else on. And we've got like 2 high school students that we've only been getting periodically, who should be done, like, exams and everything by that point anyways, so they might be part of what's filling the hole in that one. So I guess there was something different to talk about today, even if it's me in my exhausted form of it's been a long day. And I would have liked to look around the museum more. I think we'll probably go back, because again, their in-water fleet wasn't in, because the water's so high right now that it's too dangerous to put in some of the older pieces, which makes sense. Which is the exact problem that we're having as well. But it would have also been nice to have more time to look around, because I saw a couple things, but we were going around relatively quickly. So there were a couple things that I was like, I'd like to go back and look at that, and never got the chance to. Didn't pick up anything from the gift shop because I realized, like, we were traveling in company cars, and I didn't want to have to declare it at the border and have that whole hold up, even if I just got like a couple postcards and kept the receipt or something. Like, I didn't want to have to worry about that, so I didn't. Maybe we'll go back. It's something that my dad's certainly interested in. So I suggested again we wait until the water level goes down and they get some of their in water fleet. So one of the clips I showed you is actually like boat slips where they're supposed to be boats, but they aren't there. But they're putting some in next week, so they are moving towards getting their in-water fleet in, which is interesting because, again, the season's half over at this point in time. Actually, not quite, because they run the same season our museum technically does, which goes to, it's Columbus Day for them, which is our Thanksgiving, or at least close to our Thanksgiving. So they run the same season we do. With that said, I have no guarantee that I'm going to be working until Thanksgiving. They've mentioned it a couple of times that I'm possibly the student staying on. But they might decide and that they like one of the other students better. And if they're available, which is the other key thing, because again, I'm working long distance, so I'd be available for it. I won't say no. Like, if I can keep working up to that point. I only get 1 day off this week, but I've actually got 3 next week, which is pretty cool. Not all 3 together. I have the Monday off, and then I either work Tuesday, Wednesday, and have Thursday, Friday off, or I work Tuesday and have Wednesday, Thursday off. I can't remember which. 2 of them are together, and then one of them by itself. So I was like, I have 3 days off next week. And one of the managers sort of looked guilty and was like, yeah, because you only have the 1 day off this week. And I was like, alright, like, that's cool. Because a couple of us are like that. But the girl I got to ride home with actually is taking several days off at the end of that other week. So she's not scheduled for any days off. She's taking some off. And then the other person scheduled to work the entire week. Because there's again a couple that are taking pieces off this week. The other girl scheduled to work the entire week is the girl we're losing. So, like, it'll work. She'll have to come back and get her last paycheck, because they're not automatic deposits. We've just been handed checks, which is unusual now. A lot of places just do deposits. But, yeah, it's been pretty cool. And it will be an adjustment going forward. And we're going to see because it's not just we're losing a person, like we're gaining the high school students more fully, and then museums open 7 days a week, and it's open for an hour longer, so it will be an adjustment on several levels. But again, I'm hoping to keep my morning yoga. I'm trying to work on thesis, but also work on some de-stressing crafts of my own. So we're gonna see how it goes. I should show you that. I'm gonna go get it and show you that. Ta-da! I'm gonna try and see if I've got, yeah, so very colorful. I mean, it did bleed a little bit, but I actually sort of like it that way. I certainly like the rough edges to it. So pretty cool for like my first painted art piece in a while. So yeah, I sort of like how it turned out. No idea where to put it. I'm gonna be running out of spaces soon. And my next project is actually going to be, I'm gonna go to the storage unit probably tomorrow on my day off and collect all of my yarn, because there's a lot of like small stuff that I want to get rid of before whatever my next step is. So what I'm actually going to do is make a pom-pom rug and use up some excess yarn that both I have and my mother has. Which I think would be a really cool one, because it's going to be something that just gets my hands busy, but I'm not having to count stitches or count rows or anything like that. Like, it is something that I can literally just wind, tie off, cut, fluff, wind, tie off, cut, fluff, and then start putting it together. So I'll show you how that's progressing once I get started on that, once I, have yarn. My mother's actually started another project too. She's finishing up some scarves right now, but she saw some yarn and decided to make me an Afghan. It's really pretty yarn, and how I figured out that, yeah, I really do need something that I can just physically do with my hands for the next little bit, because I saw the balls of yarn she had, and I said, like, do you want those in, like, spheres, like actual balls? Because you get them in the long things, and they can get tangled when you're trying to go if you're not using it right, and it gets caught in knots. So we usually wind it, and so I was like, do you want that into proper balls? And my mother was like, sure. And I just spent like yesterday evening entirely, like, we put on Moana, which is a fantastic movie, and I just sat there and wound yarn balls, and it was like a really good thing for me to do. And I could feel some of the tension sort of unwinding as I'm winding these yarn balls. And I find the yoga's been helping, and I've been drinking a lot more smoothies with some good fruit and some whey powder in it. And I'm finding that's helping. So while I'm really stressed, I am starting to find some, it's not just activities, but different techniques that are helping me to get past that I'm a stressed ball of stress, which is a really good thing. So I'm gonna try and keep going on that, and we're gonna see how transitioning into July is gonna go. Talk to you later, Rach. One last quick thing. I retook the Pottermore sorting test, and I'm back to being a Hufflepuff, though Gryffindor is very close. So, hard work. Let's do this. And now, I'm serious. See you, Rach.